Hello, and welcome to the How to Live in Denmark podcast. I'm Kazander Mellish. I get a lot of email at How to Live in Denmark from people looking for jobs in Denmark, and I can spot definite patterns based on nationality. Indians and Pakistanis, for example, tend to send me mails full of numbers and data. I have 6 years of IT experience and an MSc in chemical engineering. What is my expected first-year salary, and what will be my living standard based on that salary? Left-wing Americans like to pour out their frustrations at the capitalist excesses of their home country, and then ask how quickly they'll be eligible for Danish social services, like free college tuition. One single mom from the U.S. had 3 children she was looking forward to educating at the Danish taxpayers' expense. Correspondents from Eastern Europe want to know if they really have to learn Danish. No doubt, because in addition to their native language, they've already had to learn English. And sometimes Russian and German, too. Foreigners in general are often trying to look for a job in a way that works well in their home country, not Denmark. Now, basically, this works about as well as trying to tell your new girlfriend the same jokes that made your old girlfriend laugh. If the setting is Denmark, the approach has to be Danish. Danish jobs are all about independence and teamwork. It's not like they need a red Lego brick and you have to convince them you're a red Lego brick to get the job. The employer has a problem that needs solving, and you have to convince them that you have the brains and the experience to solve it and the drive to make it happen. The Danish workplace has a flat structure, which means you're unlikely to find a position in which a boss tells you to do something and you do it, and then the boss tells you to do something else and you do that. In Denmark, a boss is more of a coach or a team leader type figure. He or she gets power not from a position or a title, but by being able to rally the people in a team to do good work. When Danish employers talk about foreign workers behind their backs, they often whisper, they can't think for themselves. Danish companies are looking for people who can take the initiative and solve problems without being told what to do every step of the way. If you want a job in Denmark, you need to show that you understand a company's needs and can come up with some fresh ideas to help them address those needs. You have to show up with a lot of ideas and enthusiasm and act like you're not just looking for a job, but a challenge. Your first step in learning about any field in Denmark is the union for that field. In a lot of countries, trade unions are just for old-fashioned professions like train drivers and factory workers, but in Denmark they're popular among lawyers, doctors, and engineers. Figure out the right union for your field and visit their website. You're going to find a lot of information about which companies work in that field, often information in English, plus invitations to networking events and workshops. If you need to transfer professional qualifications from your home country, the union can tell you how that's done. And once you have a potential employer interested in you, your union can help you negotiate a contract with your employer and make sure you're getting a fair deal. So use Google and find out who your union is in Denmark. Now, an important point, a union is called a fagforening, which is different from an A-kasse, although a lot of times they're run by the same people. Unless you're already in Denmark as a student, you don't need an A-kasse until you already have a Danish job. Your second stop is going to be the trade press about your field. For example, in the IT field, it's computerworld.dk. For engineers, it's ingeniøren.dk. If you're in advertising, check out bureaubiz.dk. Now, a lot of this press is in Danish, so get busy with Google Translate if you don't speak Danish yet. See what companies are in your field, who's doing well, and who's firing people. Find out if there are certain skills in your field that Danish companies need, and then market yourself as having those skills. For example, I recently read an article about how the new head of the National Police wants to increase anti-hacking capabilities. A smart job applicant could get in touch with the cops and highlight his or her IT security experience. When you know what an employer needs, you can highlight that aspect of your experience when you approach them. Many of the articles in the Danish trade press allow for comments, which is a great way to show off your experience if you know a lot about a certain field. I recently met an Iranian solar engineer looking for work in Denmark. I suggested he set up a Google alert so he's notified whenever there's new articles in the Danish press about the solar energy business, and then make short, information-rich comments on them to show off his expertise, using his real name, of course. By discussing projects he's already worked on and giving useful information on how they turned out or adding input on the best use of materials or techniques, he's showing people in the Danish industry that he has something valuable to offer. He's building himself into a brand name that people are going to seek out and want to hire. Commenting in English is fine, but it should be very good English. When I personally write in Danish, I always cut and paste the text into a Microsoft Word document to check for major spelling and grammar errors. You can try the same technique for English. If someone responds to your comment, thank them and add additional information if you can, and then send them a connection request on LinkedIn. Personalized to say how you know their name and what value you can offer them if they connect. The goal is to build a network and build yourself as a brand name in your industry. Denmark needs people with your expertise. Now you just have to show people the expertise you have. And you can start doing this before you even arrive in Denmark. That's part 1 of our series. In the next installment, we'll talk about actually applying for jobs in Denmark. That's the How to Live in Denmark podcast for this week. You can get the How to Live in Denmark book on Amazon.com or Saxo.com, or order it from any bookstore in Denmark. See you next time.